speak to me, but I always felt like I wasn't enough, or like I was so far away from like my sin and all these things. So I remember that time when I came, when I found Christ, like it was just like he's like, this is it. Like, are you gonna keep playing with me, or are you gonna take this for serious?
Hello and welcome to Holy Cultures Artist Spotlight. With me today is Lexly Nirvana. Lexly, how are you?
Doing really good. Doing really good. Excited.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. So we are just wrapping up. At the time of this recording, we're wrapping up Women's Month. But I was like, man, if I can get one more girl in, that would make me feel so good. So,
Oh, thank you.
so tell us, who is Lexly Nirvana?
So I'm from actually from Texas, from South Texas. So we're like super close to the border. We're like 15 minutes away from Mexico. Yeah, so I'm a Christian hip hop reggaeton artist. Most of my music is in Spanish. But that song that I did with B-Rose was in English, and I do some of the English too as well. But my focus has been more into the Spanish reggaeton.
Mm-hmm.
I like to really put like my heart into the lyrics that I talk about, because I feel like that's how people can connect with you, and just my life stories and everything. I've been doing this for quite some time now. It's been about like 12 years, more or less. So yeah, God is good. God is good. Growing and
Got it.
everything.
God
Yes.
is good. Okay, so I speak Spanish, but our audience is mostly English speaking. So we're gonna keep it in English today. But so tell us a little bit of your tell us about how you came to Christ.
So I came to Christ when I was a junior in high school. So I remember I was struggling with so many things, like as teenagers. I grew up in church. I grew up in church. My parents would take me to church. Well, my mom would take me to church because my dad doesn't go to church, but she would always take us and everything. But when you come into like you in your teenage years, you're kind of like want to do whatever you want, just trying to explore the world and everything. So that's how it was with me. Like, I like church and everything, but I was just like, no, I want to do my own thing. We ended up moving like cities from one city to the next, so I had to move schools. And for that, I was just like, oh, this is an open door for me. Like, I can do whatever I want. These people don't know me. They don't never see me. So I started kind of like experimenting, like getting into relationships, and like just trying to, I really enjoy partying and stuff like that. But it just came to a point where it was just so much like identity issues, like who I didn't feel like I was pretty enough, because I used to I said it before, but I used to run a lot. Like, I was into track and cross country in sports, so I was pretty good at it. I was really good at it, but like people would make fun of me because I was so skinny. So I always
Mm.
felt like kind of like low, kind of like not pretty enough and all these things. And yeah, like it was just like hard. It was hard. So I remember one time my mom ended up like putting me to this like retreat with our church, and it was my junior year. So I remember like that I was gonna go to a party because I really enjoy parties. So I told her, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to this party. She's like, no, we're gonna go to this retreat because I already paid for you. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. But no, but I ended up going, and that's when God found me, like there, like everything that things that I was internally struggling with, that I was trying to like, because I mean, like they will preach on you and stuff. Like every time that I would go to church, like, yeah, I will get like, God would speak to me, but I always felt like I wasn't enough, or like I was so far away from like my sin and all these things. So I remember that time when I came, when I found Christ, like it was just like he's like, this is it. Like, are you gonna keep playing with me, or are you gonna take this for serious? Because I kept saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna change my life. Like, I'm gonna give my life to Christ. But I was just like, no. And then one of the things that would always bring me back to the world was music, because I was so into like music, listening to like music a lot and partying. So that would always bring me back. But that time I remember God was just like, is this for real? So I ended up taking that step, and that's when everything changed. And I remember crying, and I remember like just saying like, you know what, I'm sorry, like God, like I know that I've been doing this, like I've been trying to change, but I can't do it on my own. Like, I need your help. So yeah, I gave it all that day, I remember. And it was like a 3-day retreat. So that's like, after that, just a little bit of the music. I remember asking God like, what was my purpose in life? And one of the things that he started to show me was that I could do music. So
And that was you had already been doing music before that because you said you liked
no,
parties a lot. So, uh,
no,
where did your
just
music?
the going, just the going, the
Oh,
just
okay,
going, having fun. Yeah, I wasn't really like I one of the things that I would do, like I would like memorize the lyrics of the songs and I would sing them and rap them and stuff like that. But I never thought like, oh, I want to be a rapper or I want to do this, you know. Like I never thought
okay.
about those things.
So how did that start?
So God like began to start like showing me that because one of the things that I always enjoy was writing. Like I always like writing. I remember when I was little, like I would write books and I would like show them to my mom. And it's like, look, I wrote a book, mom. And like I would just keep like, and it was super cool because I remember one time, like our school in elementary, they had I don't know how they partnered with someone and we were able to write a book. So it was like a hardcover book and everything. And like that was so nice and I still have it and it's just like, wow, my first book, it's a hardcover. Maybe later on I can write a book. But God willing. But yeah, like I enjoy writing. And then another of the things that I was like very involved when in elementary and I think middle school, I don't remember that much of middle, I think it was mostly elementary, was poetry. So they had this competitions like between schools and regions and stuff like that with poetry. So I would do because I just my first language is Spanish. So I would do Spanish poetry and we would compete. So yeah, so I was pretty good at it too. Like I was pretty good at it and everything. But that's how it like finally it made all sense. Like I was like, I enjoy writing, like I was doing poetry, like I love like just like rapping and singing and stuff like that. But like God literally like started working in my heart and everything, because it was hard at the beginning, like with confidence and getting in front of people, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yeah.
and so in your song, "I'm Great," that was the one that was just on the voting show.
Hmm.
You talk a little bit about coming to the U.S. and
Yeah.
learning a new language, and anybody who's an immigrant, I'm an immigrant, so
Yeah.
I went through that too, and I could totally relate to your song, and I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, I've been there. It kind of sucks.
Yeah,
So
it's hard. It's hard.
yeah, it's really hard, just
Mhm.
taking up everything, and I don't know about you, but they kind of threw me in with the American kids.
Mhm.
There was no ESL for me. They just kind of threw me in there.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard. So, so tell us where the reggaeton comes in. Was that like you were around that, or that just happened to be the music that you like, or how did that come about?
So I was like reggaeton, like even like back then, like Wisin y Yandel, like those kinds of reggaeton artists. And but when I first started rapping, it was in English.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was in English, and I remember doing this song, and that's called Flawless. I actually did a remix to it with Bianca Love, and so I did that first song, and it was like Spanglish. And
Nice.
then yeah, it was Spanglish, it was English and Spanish, like the original song. And then well, even the remix is English and Spanish. But I remember like performing it, and people would tell me like, hey, you should try more the Spanish. I think it can work well with you. I mean, I'm not saying that English is not good for you, but like the Spanish goes really well. Like, and I'm like, well, that is my first language.
Yeah.
So I started focusing more on the reggaeton. And then also one of the things that I can really say about it was that when I came to Christ, I was like I said, I used to love music, partying and everything. So reggaeton was part of it. You know, reggaeton was part of it. So I remember like I was like, no, maybe I shouldn't listen to this music anymore. You know, like maybe I shouldn't listen to reggaeton anymore. Like, but then I remember coming to this artist named Funky, and I could relate to the lyrics, and I was like, wait, like I mean, I could still listen to this type of music because it's about the message. It's not really about like the beat and stuff like that. Of course, the beat is catchy and all these things, but it's about the message. So that's when I started doing reggaeton, I was like, you know what, that's gonna be my focus. Like I want people to relate, and I want them to point them to Christ. So that's how I started like doing more reggaeton, which is what I've been being my primary focus at the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like you're like even in your reggaeton you have a lot of variety in it. There's like a lot of different sounds. It's very fresh. It's very young, and I
Mhm.
really like it. I dig it.
Yeah.
So tell us what finally. So I have you on Spotify as your first single coming out in 2020. Was there music before that? You said you had been at it for 12 years.
Yeah, no, so I wouldn't, I first barely started like releasing. So
Oh, okay.
before that, I wouldn't release. It was just
Oh,
like
okay.
YouTube or like just performing locally, like that's it. And people would tell me like, you need to release music. I'm just like, yeah, yeah. But it just came to that year. I think it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I don't think I don't think those songs are there anymore though. But yeah, like I barely started like 2020, 2019 to start
So
releasing.
so what made you finally do like, okay, I'm going to release music now. This is the start of it all. What was that like?
Well, how was it? So it
Yeah.
was. I mean, it was difficult because I didn't know anything. I didn't really know anything about music when I first started, and I remember like even praying about it. I was like, God, do you really want me to do this? Like, I really don't know anything. But I started to connect with people here locally that would do music. So they were able to help me to record. I remember that I started at, it was at a home. I remember a home studio that they had. So that was like my first time, I remember. And I was just like, bear with me because I don't know how this works, but we're gonna make it work. And I was like, you know what, like after the moment, I was just like, I'm gonna keep doing this, like this is my thing, and I really find like passion for it, for doing that. But yeah, it was very hard to connect at first with people because I mean sometimes they don't believe in you and things like that, and then like also your confidence, you need to grow that too as well.
Yeah. And how was that like, so you said you had struggled with a little bit of your identity and your I wouldn't say self-worth, but like confidence in your teen years. How did you overcome that? Because like being an artist, you have to like put yourself out there and be vulnerable and make mistakes and learn as you're growing, as you're doing. How was that journey for you?
Yeah, it was pretty hard, like it really was, I'm not gonna lie, because I guess coming from like Mexico and stuff like that, also feeling like, oh, okay, like I'm lower than everybody, or like people here. I mean, like here where I'm at, it's usually like Hispanics. It's mostly Hispanics here. But like just coming over there, I always told myself like, oh, I'm never gonna tell them that I'm not from here because I don't want to feel like left out or fit in. So I feel like all those little things just started, and then like people making fun of me, like
Mhm.
because I was super skinny and like the confidence was just like not all there. But slowly, like just connecting with other people, like and just like learning more, getting more out there, it just started to break that barrier little by
That's cool.
little, because yeah, little by little, because it was hard. Like I had to learn from other people, and like we have here, like I said, I was part of this, well, this group is not there anymore, but it used to be called BG4G, by God for God. So it
Mhm.
was kind of like a collaborative of artists, and we would like connect and stuff like that and do different songs together. So yeah, it was slowly. Hmm.
But you had a community, so that's
Yeah,
awesome. Because
yeah.
a lot of people don't do that, and it's hard because we're so spread out everywhere, and
Hmm.
people don't always have like artists that are in their community or even close by, really. So
Yeah.
yeah, so good on you. And so I saw you, and I feel like you're like out there in your community. Just like looking at your Instagram, I saw you. Were you on the Invasion tour? Did you happen
Yeah.
to? So did you open for them, and how was that? That was last year, right?
Yeah, that was last year. It was in I believe, I think it was like toward the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I connected with this, the one that was the host or the promoter. Yeah,
Mhm.
Sammy. So I was able to get a slot there to open up for them. It was really awesome. Like we had a good group and everything that went. But yeah, like I feel like social media has been really, because I feel like when I first started, like I didn't was able to connect too much with people, but now with social media it's been like more helpful. So that's how, like the tours and all that stuff, like I was able to connect with them. And also like I was part of the Invasion Awards as well, so I know like the like one of the, what's his name, Andre, like
So that was December. 2024 is when you got the female CHH Artist of the Year.
Yeah,
I was
that
thinking that.
was that no, that was for the BIU awards, which is
Okay.
in Florida. Yeah, but I had
Oh,
another one the year before that.
oh
Yeah,
wow. So you're like, okay, I just saw the one, and I was like, wow,
yeah,
she's kind of like been up there, and we just hadn't seen you before. And I think
yeah,
there's just so many artists. If you're an artist, like just know that we're out there watching you, and we're out there scouring for you. So if we haven't found you, just bear with us. We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah. So you were in the Invasion tour. I was actually connecting with the promoter, so we put them on Holy Culture. So that's how I know about it. And then I saw you were the rising female CHH artist, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I feel like you have really tapped into like the live events, and then actually making like a face-to-face connection rather than like an internet, because I feel like a lot of artists, they'll do like social media first and that's how they blow up, and then they go out and tour and do events and stuff, but it feels like you kind of did it backwards.
yeah. That's how it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've
But
done. Like I said, I started locally here, so I would go to like different churches and stuff like that.
and
Um,
so, and how is that for you? Because I feel like, well, where I grew up, so I grew up in a Hispanic church also. But if you were to try to bring reggaeton to our church, we would have closed the door on you. So
yeah,
that?
no,
How is
yeah,
that for the churches in your area?
yeah, it's difficult. It was
Yeah.
difficult. I know, like, I don't know why, but I feel like sometimes in the Hispanic culture, like there's a lot of legalism for some
Yes.
reason. There
Yes.
is
Absolutely. Yeah.
like so it is very hard, but I was able to connect with this it was like an evangelist that he would do like different youth events, and that's what he would take me, like he would take me to these different youth events that he would go to the churches, like they would call them and stuff like that, and they would do the word, then the worship, the rap. So I was able to get my feet wet there, like.
That's awesome. And so you have been working with a lot with youth then.
Yeah,
For the most
yeah,
part.
I have, yeah.
And so, and how is that their reception? Because like you said, that there is a lot of legalism in our churches. So how is that for like those kids that saw you? Was it kind of like an eye-opening experience for them? Like this is really cool. Like we can listen to this music and love Jesus at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. It's because I always say like it's about the message. It's really about the message what you're giving out. Because yeah, the song can be catchy and all these things, but if you really look at the secular, like it's they have catchy music, but what are they saying? You know what I mean? So I really like when because I remember like the beginning and stuff like that. Like there was some churches that they were like, oh no, this type of music we don't accept that, or it's from the devil. I had an instance where they told me that one time, and I was like barely starting as well, so it kind of hurt. You know what I mean? I was like, it hurt because I was just like, but I'm doing this for God. I feel like God called me to do this. Like, how can you tell me that it's from the devil? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I remember God speaking to me that this was what He wanted for me to do, and that's what I've been doing. I was like, you know what? Like, I know you're a minister. I know you're up there, but I'm sorry, but this is what God is telling me. You know, this is what God is saying. I'm just gonna do what God is telling me,
Right.
even though you may seem like this is bad or it's from the devil, but it really isn't, like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And good on you for staying with your calling, even though it's hard, because it can be really discouraging when you're just starting out and people are rejecting you. But you're here and you're putting out
Mhm.
music, and I think that's amazing. And so, tell us where you and V Rose connected. How did that happen?
Well, that's kind of funny because like she actually posted on her Instagram that she was doing collaborations with indie artists a while back. So I remember reaching out to her on an email, and we just made it happen. Like I told her about the idea, she liked the idea, and yeah, it felt like it was going to another direction in a way, like the message that I was trying to give. But then I was like, you know what? Like, no, like I'm gonna speak about my life. Like I'm gonna speak about this is the message that we're trying to give here.
Yeah.
And like if you heard the song, it's talking about like confidence as well. You know what I mean? Like me growing up and struggling with that. But yeah, it was just like that. It was just like that.
No, it was great. I thought it
Yeah,
was great, and I thought it was so relatable because I was like, man, I wish I would have had this song when I was immigrating to the U.S. and barely speaking any English, and
yeah,
yeah, that song would have helped me a ton. So, so I'm so glad that you put it, and then I'm so glad that you made it in English too. Mostly because it opens you up to a wider audience. But speaking of Spanish music, so I feel like English Christian hip hop is like hitting its heyday, right? We just went to Rolling Loud a couple months ago.
hmm,
Miles Minnick just did his Rolling Loud solo. We're kind of everywhere right now. And
yeah.
so, what does the Spanish counterpart to Christian hip música cristiana hip hop, música cristiana rap, what does that landscape look like? Is it that also like it's kind of everywhere, or is it kind of its infancy? Can you give us kind of like an insider look at what's going on that side of stuff?
Well, I feel like the people that I follow and stuff like that, and that like I look up to, like, yeah, they have their tours and everything. I don't know. I don't think I've seen like a big like Rolling Loud type of stuff like that. For the Spanish, but I feel like one day we can get there because I know
Mhm.
like the music and everything, like it's getting better and better every time
Yeah,
with the quality and everything. So I feel like we can get there. But I know that they do a lot of stuff, like they do the touring, and I know for like for Puerto Rico, like they have like in the Coliseum or something like that, like they performed there before. So
yeah. Because I
mhm.
saw, so Reach Records just signed Alexander, so he's from
Yeah,
Puerto Rico,
yeah.
and oh gosh, what's his name? Tommy Royale
Oh
signed
yeah.
to I forgot
Just,
whatever the record's name.
I
So
think it was Capital or
both.
something.
Yes, thank you, Capital.
Yeah,
So two Puerto Rican signing to American labels. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's
we have
interesting.
times here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And now it's like, can we have a conversation about that? And
Mhm.
so what do you think is missing? Because I feel like there's a missing link. I just don't know what it is. And so how do we as American Christian hip hop fans, labels, companies, how do we help our Hispanic, Latino brothers and sisters in Christ kind of like reach a bigger audience?
I feel like maybe they should like open more opportunities because I believe there is an audience in even in the CHH,
Mhm.
that is into Spanish. I know I've had like people like, oh, I don't know what you're saying, but I can feel it. Like I can feel what you're saying. So I feel like if they can just open a little bit more opportunities for the Spanish on the Spanish side, I think it would be. I mean, because even the Spanglish, like coming together, that's like amazing, and that's
Yeah,
something that I've been focusing on as well, like doing the both so they can both understand. But yeah, I feel like if they would be able to open a little bit more opportunities. I know, like now how you're saying with Reach, like that's big.
yeah,
That's
huge.
big, that is very big. So and it expands, for the kingdom of God.
And I gotta say, I think it sounds so cute when you do it in Spanish. You have your Spanish, and then there's a little bit of English. I was like, oh, that's so cute. I love it. No,
Yeah.
it's so great. It's so great.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have mostly Spanish music, like you were saying, that was your focus. Um, are you going to be doing any English projects anytime soon?
Well, I actually have like I guess I could say this. I have like maybe like a Spanish English one coming up soon,
Nice.
maybe for the
Oh,
summer. Yeah, we're
nice.
still working on it, but yeah.
Still working on it.
Uh
That's
huh.
okay. We will wait. We will wait, and we will be expectantly. So what is next for Lexly Nirvana? Like, what's your next project? If you can talk to us about that.
Yeah, so my next I'm working on this song Cavalor. It's actually the original from I did my album last year. I released my first album last year, full on album. And I'm doing a remix to that song. So right now I'm like really focusing on remixing some of my songs from that or from the original album. So that's my next one is going to be the Valor remix, and it's coming out in April. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a song. It's talking about having value, valuing yourself, talking about, like, because I feel like as women we need to value ourselves, like we do, and sometimes like we don't know those things, somebody like needs to teach us.
Hmm.
So I'm talking about that in that song, and how to like to value yourself as a woman.
That's beautiful. And if you are wanting to learn Spanish, the best way to learn it is watching some telenovelas and hooking yourself up with some Spanish music. And it's the best way to learn,
Yeah.
honestly. And so, tell us, Lexly, where we can find your music.
So you can find me on, well, you can find me on Instagram, but you can also find me on Spotify, Apple Music. I'm on YouTube as well. I have some visuals coming out, so I'm excited for those. But yeah, I'm out there, Lexly Nirvana.